Warning. Nerd mode. Live from the basements of losers, this is the Cantina Cuisine. Welcome back to the Cantina Cuisine. We are back for another installment of Childhood Movie Month. This is the second of 4 movies that we'll be covering, and we are covering a movie that one of our hosts couldn't make it to because he has a bunch of school and stuff to cover up. So, PC to Owen, we're sorry that you couldn't make it for this one, but I think we got someone who can help hold my shoulders a little bit. We are talking about a cult classic from 2007, starring Tom Leake, Colin Fix, Rick Gomez, Samantha Smith, Brian Reese. I'm just naming a bunch of random people. And of course, Mike Fisher, a football coach. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but this is the most random casting you have ever heard. But in all seriousness, we're talking about the 2007 movie directed by Michael Bay, helped out by Steven Spielberg as a director, executive producer, with Shia LaBeouf, or as I call him, Shia Labum, and Megan Fox, basically a porn star, mm-hmm. Josh Duhamel, Tyrese Gibson, and of course, Peter Cullen, the famous voice actor of Optimus Prime, doing it for over 40 years. I'm talking about the first ever live-action Transformers movie from 2007. Probably the most mixed bag movie of the time, and probably still mixed bag at the time. I don't know what our guest is going to think about it, but my name is Patrick, and we have made a pretty good podcast.
I am Mike Hiltey, part of the SPDM crew. I appreciate you having me on. My username is ladiesman217, and the glasses that you're looking for were found on eBay. So looking forward to talking more about Transformers.
Nice one. I appreciate that.
I do my best. It's all good.
If you don't know who this is Mike Hiltey from what was it? SDPM?
SPDM.
Okay. Is that an acronym or is that a?
It is an acronym. It is. So when I was in high school, my group of friends, we decided one sleepover that we were going to make an improv movie, and we called it the St. Patrick's Day Massacre. So I named my podcasting network in honor of that because I don't know. I just felt inspired to honor that ridiculous movie that I made with a group of friends in high school.
Okay. I'm guessing your movie's about murdering St. Patrick?
It is about a bunch of mobsters that murder each other on St. Patrick's Day, which it has. Looking back, I don't even think we even mentioned that it was St. Patrick's Day. I don't know.
So then it's not a St. Patrick's Day movie if the plot doesn't even count if the plot doesn't arouse St. Patrick's Day.
We'll just casually imply that one of us mentioned at some point that it was St. Patrick's Day.
I better hope so. Yeah. Well, like mine is Patrick. I actually spelled Patrick, not Partic, because my parents thought I was special. And I have ADHD, so therefore I am special. That accounts to it.
There we go. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, Transformers. I gotta be honest. This one, like, in the past, if you listen to Oz Network, where me and Colin got to talk about Bumblebee, probably a very underrated Transformers movie, in my opinion, and probably the best one. Even after watching this one, I consider this to be the best live action movie outside of the Transformers 2007.
Yeah, I would.
This one is bad.
So let's just call it what it is. Most of them are pretty bad, but on a scale of which one is like the least bad, this one is probably gonna take the cake because this one is among one of the least offensive. Some of the people here are actually kind of trying, and the novelty at least has not worn off. Like, because I grew up watching the Transformers on TV, and I had a bunch of Transformer toys. So I was really looking forward to this until I found out that Michael Bay was directing it. And that's when I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But the special effects look great. Michael Bay definitely does know how to direct action set pieces, but the script is awful, and at least Peter Cullen came back for it. So I got to give them credit for that.
Absolutely, and I think just an honorable mention to Peter Cullen. Like he's been doing this voice for over 40 years. Even
Hmm.
doing it for the recent movie Rise of the Beast, which is probably the best Transformers live action underneath Bumblebee. That would
Hmm.
probably be putting it at second. Um, I don't think Peter Cullen can even save the script. Like it is.
It's
I'm gonna make an argument about the first half being so bad that it's even probably worse than all of the last night. Like this movie is really it drags on. There is no need for it to be 2 hours and 20 minutes. I was so surprised about how long this movie was and how long it drags. It also follows characters that aren't interesting.
mhm.
The relationships aren't interesting. The chemistry is not interesting. You basically have a porn star as the lead actress, which is kind of annoying. And it is just there's a lot of garbage in this movie that I can remember. I
Yes,
do want to
yes.
also make a comment about your thing, but this being the least worst. I would actually consider Dark of the Moon to be the least worst, honestly. The Dark Moon has a lot of least offensive jokes in it, and at least Megan Fox is not in it.
The but the other girl that they got to be in it, she's clearly not an actress. And at
I
least
mean,
Meg
anything is better than Megan Fox. Honestly, like
that's
you can get a pylon to be better than Megan Fox.
so yes and no. I think like for me, what kind of really so one thing to respond to is that yes, there is no reason why any of these movies should be over 2 hours long. And as the franchise has gone on, these movies have gotten longer and longer. And here's the only reason why I like sort of like maybe 5% excuse it for this movie. It's got a lot to set up because it's got to explain the lore to all those people who are not familiar with it. It's
Mm-hmm.
got to explain this MacGuffin Allspark thing that they need to explain and they need to find, and they have to introduce a full amount of characters when we don't I don't understand why there's so many characters in this and why like I think the biggest thing also is that I do not get why Sam Witwicky is the guy that is supposed to save the world. Like I do not understand why. Like it's I get it from the perspective of hey, it's just let's just have like just a regular guy kind of save everyone and save humanity, but Shia LaBeouf's kind of a douchebag in this, and like I could just kind of watching like the last time I watched this, I'm like, why is Shia LaBeouf the guy in this? Like, why couldn't we follow like the military guys like Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson? Like that would make a little bit more sense to me. I will give a little bit of credit where credit is due because I did enjoy John Turturro in this. He is way, way, way over the top, but I at least enjoyed it. But everyone else in this, I'm like, why are you here? Like, what is happening right now? I don't get it.
And I would agree to you because again, I'm gonna be diving into the movie right away. But this movie has three plot lines. Three.
Mm-hmm.
You do not make a movie with three plot lines. The last time I remember hating a movie with three plot lines was The Secret Life of Pets, and that was from the Illumination studios, the
Right.
one who made Hop, the one who
Mm-hmm.
made Despicable Me 4. They are a dying studio, except they actually saved themselves a little bit with Super Mario. But either way, I agree with you 100%. Shia LaBeouf, his character doesn't deserve this. Like, there's no reason why he needs to be in this, except for his great grandfather who discovers the Iceman. I am just. It's a terrible idea. I do not understand this. I honestly would have rather followed Maggie, if anything, because I
Mm-hmm.
I did really like Maggie.
Yeah.
Anyways, Well, why don't we dive into a little bit of the history of this? There's not a lot to talk about, but there is one interesting fact that that I found out. If you watch this on Amazon Prime Video, you actually get a little bit of trivia
Mhm.
throughout the movie, and also the scores as well. So you get to identify the songs that happened in the movie. So this trivia was actually around the middle, but I want to give it out here just for a little bit of a context history. Um, did you know that Michael Bay actually turned down the role to direct this movie before?
That's frustrating for a couple reasons. I think the big thing that's frustrating about it is that did Paramount not get the hint? Like, if he didn't want to direct it, like, why do we continue to go after him? Because I think my biggest problem with this movie is the Michael Bay of it all. It is the slow-mo action pieces. It is the awful product placement of things. Like, yes, I get it. Mountain Dew and Xbox are a thing at the time. Do we really need to have like a transforming vending machine, or do we really need to have a transforming Xbox? Yes, we do, because it's Michael Bay. It is also Michael Bay's just clear objectification of women in this, and Megan Fox falls prey to that as well. So it's just what he does well is spectacle and makes campy, just ridiculous blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
And that is what this movie is through and through.
Do you want to know why he actually came back? Or do you know why he came back?
So I'm going to assume it was money, but what's the real reason why?
The real reason, you're not going to believe this, it was because Steven Spielberg's name was attached to it. And he wanted to work with him. And the fact that Michael Bay was a car buff and was interested in sentient cars, and that was apparently interested in him, he accepted the role back.
Hmm,
So,
okay.
and apparently, he was glad he came back because he got to introduce non-Transformers fans to Transformers. And so, that is a little bit of something. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I do not like Michael Bay's approach to anything except for action set pieces. Like, that should be his only department. He can't
Mhm,
write a character to save his life. I
mhm,
am so frustrated with him. Um,
mhm,
for the development of this movie, Don Murphy, who also helps write the script, he was initially planning a G.I. Joe film adaptation. So that was the original plan with this movie. But when the United States launched the invasion of Iraq in March of 2003, Hasbro suggested adapting the Transformers franchise instead. So basically, a war happened, and uh, they don't want to write a movie about Joes fighting against Cobras.
hmm.
So it's an interesting little thing there. I mean, they obviously released a G.I. Joe movie like later on. I don't know when they released The Rise of Cobra. I gotta look this up for a second. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. I am mistyping this. It came out 2009. So 7 years after this thing came out. And like I'm like glad that maybe that this came out before that because I do think that this movie is a little bit better than G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. But
Mhm.
either way, there's a lot of badness to talk about, and we're gonna just jump right in. We're gonna have some little points of time where our guest is gonna comment on some parts of the movie that he could feel wish to.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so we're gonna start the movie here with the alienic transformative noises that we get from the opening logo with Paramount. I honestly found that pretty cool because they keep
That
doing it
was
throughout the logos of all the other movies after that.
that was cool, and that I will give this movie credit for some of the special effects for this, because just the way that they made the Paramount logo transform, and kudos to the sound design as well, because the sound design in this was really cool. I did see this in theaters, and it was loud, so which one would come to expect from a Michael Bay movie, but I will give it credit because the sound was fantastic.
Hmm. And this is where I first learned, like, on my recent viewing, this is my first time figuring out that DreamWorks worked on this project. So
Mhm.
I had no idea that DreamWorks worked on a live action movie. I thought that How to Train Your Dragon for coming out this year was going to be their first ever live action film, but apparently they worked on the first Transformers movie. So that was a pretty cool detail that I got to see. I don't know what they contributed, but thank you DreamWorks for giving this mid movie what whatever you did. Moving on. We
Yeah.
get this exposition from Optimus Prime about the cube, the Allspark, and he tells us it gets lost on Earth, and somehow they got a message from someone that said the cube was there. Now, I do not know like what this person is. The movie does not know how they get this message. I'm assuming they're getting it from the fact that Megatron goes in like way before they do. So it's a little bit of, again, there's plot hole number one. Where the
Mhm.
heck did you hear this message from, and why didn't you resolve it? Michael
Yes.
Bay, be better with that.
Um,
Um, Sorry, go ahead.
no, he's not going to be better at that because this is the best that he can do. Is that all of this opening scene was an expositional dump with all of the different, just explaining everything that is going on. Now, I will give it credit. Some of the visuals of Cybertron were looked pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um, like, did you ever see the Transformers 1, the most recent animated
oh,
one?
absolutely, and I love that movie.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And just being in that world, that was actually kind of fun because I think one of the big problems that these Transformers movies have, and it's particularly evident in a lot of the later entries, nobody gives a crap about any of these humans. They just want to see Transformers. So why are we trying to stuff all of these human stories in this when all we care about are transforming cars or transforming vehicles looking really cool?
And I agree with you on that. Although I will admit that they finally got it right with Bumblebee. Like, I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah,
watched that
yeah,
movie. Like, Haley
absolutely.
Steinfeld was like, they got it right. Like, oh, I was so happy that they got the human characters right with that. And it wasn't just Haley Steinfeld, it was everybody. Like,
Mhm,
everybody had a place in it. Everybody was written. Like, that
mhm.
was the best part of it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I would agree with that.
Okay, that we agree on something that's again,
Yeah,
folks. This is the first time that we're ever doing an episode together. This is the first time we've ever meet face to face. So we don't know what we think of. We don't know each other's opinions. We don't know each other's races. We don't know each other's sexes. We are just, yeah,
we're just going with it. It's all
yeah,
good.
exactly, exactly. Now after this little expositional jump, and we get this we get to the Middle East with the military guys. We get introduced to Captain Lennox, who I believe is the best human character in the movie. He was really good. I love the actor who portrayed him. He actually appeared back in the last night, which I was a little bit happy about. Because why did they dump him for three and four? Like it was such a mystery. I do not. Moving on. Um, While they're on the way, the guys start to be racist because the Spanish guy is speaking Spanish, and the other guys are just like, "Oh, we can't understand you. Go back to where you came from." Basically,
Yep. That's
racist.
that's Mike
Michael
that's a
Bay.
that's a Michael Bayism.
Michael Bay is of number two. First,
Hmm.
number one, woman. Number two, racism.
Hmm.
Um. By the way, I don't know if any of you folks have heard the news, but apparently he's developing a Skibidi toilet movie, which is probably the worst thing I have ever heard of in my life. It is.
I
We're
th-
just
I,
gonna
th-
leave.
I think the best way to describe something like that is just an audible sigh of defeat, which you've done spectacularly for that.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on from that, we get introduced to Lennox and the captain, and we get to this unidentified helicopter, which we'll figure out later on. They're coming towards the base. Before that, we get to see Lennox with his wife talking to their kid, and after that, we get the first indication that ladies apparently don't fart. So I I was fell victim of that for until I was 17 when I was in my room. I heard someone was in the bathroom. Someone farted really loudly, and I had no idea who it was. And I saw my mom walk out of there. So my childhood just like bursted in between my just. It was yeah.
I'm I'm glad that the Transformers can be an educational vehicle for you in that respect.
Well, it's not an educational vehicle. That's the point because my mom farted after that. So it's an uneducational.
That's that's
Um.
fair.
Okay. So the helicopter starts attacking the it starts attacking the base, which is again a cool visual. I love the action shots in this movie. Michael Bay does it very well. Oh, just stick to that.
Mhm.
Anyways, he starts hacking to the system looking for something. We don't know what it is yet, but we assume there's no survivors. Now we go to high school with our first introduction to Shia Labum. His character, Sam Witwicky, doing a presentation about family genealogy, and this is the only point of the movie quotes towards him being connected to Transformers. His grandfather going to the Arctic Circle, and them discovering what something that we'll figure out later on.
Mhm.
Um, Basically, Sam actually does this presentation to sell his stuff for a car fund. Although we will figure out later on, it's actually not for a car fund; it's for something else. We'll
Mhm.
talk about that later. Um, so now the presentation is done. We get some glimpse from the teacher that it was bad. He gives him a B minus, but Sam gives probably the stupidest argument I have ever heard from anybody in high school, and apparently he persuaded the teacher to give him an A minus.
Mhm.
I do not know who this teacher is. I want you to leave. I want you to quit high school. That is so dumb. Ugh,
They
unbelievable.
they just needed it as a simple means to just get us from point A to point B. That's all the point of this
Well,
is.
they could just give us the A minus. Like, give him a good presentation. Write this character good. Like,
Patrick,
he
we
is
need
such
the
a.
script to be, or we need this movie to be 2.5 hours long, and that is how we do this by manufacturing drama in like the shavings make a pile in this instance, and just all these little instances that just runs up the runtime, and that is how we get such a long movie. Is little things like this. That is a problem with the script, and that is a problem with the screenwriters at the end of the day. So that, yeah, I don't understand why we have that. I will give a shout out because Captain Archibald Witwicky is it's a cool name. I will give it that. It
Yeah,
doesn't make a
absolutely.
lick. It doesn't make a lick of sense of how he's the one that just discovers Megatron, I guess, in the Arctic. Like that's just kind of yada yada and glossed over a little bit, and it just kind of happened to be happenstance. And Sam is just the fortunate one that gets these glasses that gets to eventually get to where we send the signal out. So continue. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Where was I? Oh yeah, stupid teacher, get fired. His After he reveals that to his dad that he got an A minus, his dad takes him to a shop to buy a car. But before he does that, this is what's the first joke in the movie that I actually laughed at. He takes him by a Porsche shop, and then he's like, "I am not buying you a Porsche." It
Mhm.
is such a funny line. I love it. And now we get taken to this basically an auto trader shop, basically from our day, to buy a used car. Fun fact: if you didn't notice, Bumblebee actually drives in the background, so you do actually notice him driving to the shop. So
Mhm.
that was honestly pretty cool. Um, one of the only cool things that we get for the first hour of the movie. The owner takes him to the cars, mentions loosely that the car picks the driver, basically saying that you better use the Force and the Force will help you pick the car and all that jazz. It's basically referencing Star Wars.
Mhm.
It's such a yeah. We get the call back, and then we also get a call back from the original car that B was in because after the guy reveals that the car was 5 grand, the dad doesn't want to pay it, so he goes into this bug car next to it, and then he says, "Oh, this is a nice car," and then B just slams the door right into the bug car. Which, by the way, is a little bit of a disrespect because well, how dare you treat bug cars like that? Like,
Mhm.
it's a classic. It is Bumblebee's car. I will not. I will argue you to the end of the earth on that. It is such a. It's a classic. I don't know why you would do that.
Mhm.
Um, and then B didn't have enough there because this wasn't the only menacing act he does in this scene. He decides to do a shockwave and it breaks all the windows and windshields of the cars. So
Sure.
he
Yeah.
gets it sold, and
Mhm.
again, it's like you said, it's something stupid that needs to move the plot along.
Mhm.
I did find it a little bit enjoyable, but not that much.
Well,
Um,
I enjoyed this part for a couple reasons. One, Bernie Mac is in it, and Bernie Mac he has some fun moments in here. Um, but it's just a very brief cameo, so I will give him a little credit for that. One thing that I do appreciate Sam and his dad's relationship as well. They seem pretty close. His When they introduce his mom into it, that's when it starts to really just grind me really bad. So I like you said, I like the joke with Sam's dad driving past the Porsche shop and Sam's freaking out is like, "No, no, you didn't." And he's like, "Yeah, you're right. No, I didn't." And he drives past to just a crappy, used car dealership.
Yeah, I honestly agree with that. We are now in Washington D.C. with a bunch of nerds from high school. Apparently, they are hiring high schools to help with something that's this big. It's something really stupid, and I don't know if it happens real life, but if it does, then congratulations, students who get to be in a CRA meeting. You
Sure.
are commended. So
Hmm.
I salute you.
Hmm.
Um. So this is where we get to meet Maddie and a couple other of her friends. Honestly, Maddie's probably the second favorite, my second favorite human character in the movie. She's really enjoyable. Why could this movie pick her to be the main protagonist? Why could this movie pick a character in general instead of Shia LaBeouf? Uh, yeah.
Well,
Anyways, we have the
Shia LaBeouf was riding that even Stevens wave into, being the main star of this. Because you're right, Maggie could have been a cool character to follow, but nobody knew who Rachel Taylor was. People knew who Shia LaBeouf was, so that's probably the reason why. Unfortunately, it's name recognition. That's Hollywood for you.
it is Hollywood, but like I don't know why Hollywood just keeps getting this wrong. Just because you have a famous actor doesn't mean you're gonna get a good performance out of them.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna be calling out a specific actor, Megan Fox, porn star, later on, and it's just like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Mm.
Anyways, we are back with the Secretary of Defense. He's apparently coming to attend this meeting to basically break down what happened in the Middle East in the base. And I honestly, the Secretary of Defense looks like an actor I recognize, although I do not know where I find him from. Let me just give me a quick second. I'm gonna
It's
find whoever he
so I'm
is.
pretty sure the Secretary of Defense is John Voight, and John Voight is he's not in as much stuff anymore, but like I recognized him. He was in Enemy of the State. He was in what was like another thing that he was in? He was in Anaconda, which I'm sure that doesn't help matters at all. He was in Varsity Blues as well. He was a pretty notable actor at the time, but I think now he's just kind of known as he's just kind of a jerk in real life.
Hmm. I also can see here he's also in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That one's a surprise to me.
Interesting.
Uh, is there anything else he's a part of that makes a lot of sense? He's apparently in the TV series 24, which, by the way, Oz Network did a full coverage of all the episodes of, so you can definitely check that out. I recommend it. Um, National Treasures, Book of Secrets. Nothing else really of importance, but he's probably my third favorite human character in the movie. Like again, why couldn't we focus on him? He was such a better character than Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be a consistent theme throughout the course of
It
this
is.
movie is that there are a lot of other people that we could have followed that would have been a lot more enjoyable, but Sam Witwicky just has the power just to connect with Bumblebee, and thus just all the other Transformers just endear themselves to him, I guess.
And apparently the porn star. Anyways, we get back to Sam's house and we get to see him talking to his dog, which I do a lot. I do talk to my dog a lot. Well, I'm not. I don't. She's not my dog anymore because I'm officially moved out of my parents' house. But I have a like a 7 or 8 year old husky lab mix, and so
Hmm.
she is a sweet, adorable dog. I love her. And I talk to her like a baby, like who's a good dog, who's a good girl. So I understand a little bit of the talk of that. So they write at least one good trait of a character just to be funny and talking to a dog. Um, and now we get revealed that the car fund plan from the presentation wasn't the case. It was to get a girl and sell his items on eBay just for that.
Hmm.
Loser, big loser. I again, uh, a million things I hate about Shia LaBeouf. And he then practices speaking to a girl in the mirror. He puts on some cologne. He puts on some spray thing. Goes outside, and his father complains about him stepping on his grass, which I have had a lot of people complain about me stepping on their grass, but that's because I'm an intruder. But you're to do it to your own son, like, man, have some respect, dude. Like, my goodness. You are such a jerk. I do not like. I will disagree with you. I do not like Shia LaBeouf and the father's relationship here. Like, it doesn't even flesh well. Like, it is probably one of the worst things I have ever seen in a father-son relationship. Probably worse than Chicken Little's father-son relationship, if anything.
That's that's a bit extreme, isn't it? Because that
No,
father
it's not.
that
For a
father.
Transformers movie and a Shia LaBeouf movie and a Michael Bay movie, it's not.
Okay, fair.
I don't even know. I don't even know the difference between like if Transformers is better than Chicken Little or not. So it is a big. I have a problem. Anyways, he goes out there. He goes to his car saying he'll be back. The car lets out a bunch of gas, and the mother even calls out the father saying, "You're so cheap." So could they afford a Porsche? And his father's just choosing not to? I guess he's being a responsible parent. I guess so.
Yeah.
Would you buy your son a Porsche when he just turns 15?
No. No. Absolutely not. No.
Even if you have the money.
No. No. Because when you're think back to when you were 15 and like really like that amount of responsibility of like a Porsche, even if you could afford it. Like I look back at myself when I was at 15 and I would not trust myself with a Porsche. Let's just put it that way.
Fair enough. Like, I know parents are different. Like, I have this kid who's a big spoiled brat in high school. Like, he was my friend for a while. He got everything he wanted, even a $600 belt from Ontario.
Mm,
Good night.
ouch.
If you're listening to this, buddy, loser. You're a bigger loser than Shia LaBeouf because at least he didn't spend $600 on a belt.
Mm,
Anyways, I honestly love the joke that the mother calls the father out. That was the only thing that I liked from the mom.
mm.
Anyways, we're back in the Middle East where the survivors of the attack. We figure out that Lennox's team actually survives, and they are traveling to a nearby village. And while this is happening, the Secretary of Defense is sharing a broadcast about everything and what's going on. The mother is tuning into this. She has her baby crying, a very what you call it, a moment where it makes sense, kind of like a what you call it, like and that like a jinx, like it happens at the perfect moment where
Mm.
they're just talking about there is no survivors, none at all. But yeah, the baby cries, mother trying to comfort him. Then we come back to Sam and his friend traveling to the party, a party, at a park. Basically, the excuse is that it's a public park, so they're therefore invited. So people take that logic and use it to your advantage because if people are having a party at a public park, definitely you should definitely do that, even if it's a Justin Trudeau party at the open St. John's Park. Anyways, his friend comes he and his friend come to the party, and and basically Sam is going there to get Megan Fox, the porn star,
Which,
and
th- dude, he is swinging for the fences with this, and I don't understand this at all. Like, why on earth this is a thing? Like, we know why it's a thing because it's a Michael Bay thing, but it's kind of infuriating because it, with all due respect to Shia LaBeouf, dude, she's like way out of your league. So like, good for you, shoot your shot, but like, no, 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 no,
and he
no.
got lucky too. He got
He
lucky too.
he
Like
got
that's a crazy thing. It's like
yeah,
you're shooting your shot. I agree with you, but he gets lucky and gets the girl anyway. So
yeah,
it's basically telling kids shoot your shot and you'll get lucky. So
yeah,
this thing is again being educational for the wrong reasons. This
no,
is a movie where you should not watch it for educational purposes, just to watch giant robots bang each other and not bang each other as you think it, but like literally just hit each other.
Mhm.
So this is, uh, I hate Michael Bay so much. Anyways, they make an excuse that they were there to climb a tree, which is kind of stupid. I
That's
do not
weird.
like that.
That's a weird way to go about doing this.
I mean, I will agree. Like my brother, when he was like really young, like this is like my third youngest brother. He's around 14, 50 at the time that with this recording. He was like maybe 9 or 8 when he got this obsession. He just loved climbing trees. Like if there's a tree like anywhere in a park, in a backyard, if anything, he will climb those trees to his heart's content. That is something that I think that that you should definitely do. If you like climbing trees, go ahead. But doing it as an excuse to get a girl and get a porn star as your girlfriend? Yeah, no. No, thank you. I do not want that excuse ever again.
Hmm.
Um, we get our first line of dialogue from Megan Fox, and it sucks. She is can't act to save her life. She leaves her ex jock, and because she doesn't want to be a bunny and doesn't want to sit in the backseat of the truck. Again, who is? I don't even know if this jock is worse than Shia LaBeouf. It is a very confusing question, but it's something that will never get answered.
Nope.
Um, Sam notices and B again, B being a menace plays a romantic song. I do not remember what the song was, but he does definitely does one to try and get him let's just say a little happy.
Hmm.
And then he kicks his friend out, which you should not do. Like what the heck? Like make him be a third wheel and sit him in the back instead of just kicking him out completely.
Hmm.
Anyways, he kicks him out. He drives the bee to Megan Fox, and he picks her up again. Him being lucky, and then they just drive off. Um, so
Wait,
they have a
wait, what?
conversation.
What? One thing to note: Megan Fox is a big car person, apparently. So she opens up the trunk, and Bumblebee is like showing off the goods here, and that is how Bumblebee is the greatest wingman ever, ever, ever.
Yep. Sadly, you are right. Better wingmen than any of your best mans at your wedding. Anyways, we get him to drive. We do the hood scene, which you covered already, so thank you.
Mhm.
Um, we also get to sorry, I've lost myself in my notes. She leaves him. Sam definitely tries to get B back to work. He plays another fancy love song, like lovey dovey song. He finally works. He goes to pick up Megan Fox. He drops her home, and before she leaves, we get a more than meets the eye reference, which I felt like that was a little cringy. Like that definitely should not have been there.
Felt
And
forced.
then in that we get Linkin Park in the background playing, and that is the first 30 minutes of the movie. Do you have any comments or anything you liked, anything you disliked from those first 30 minutes that you want to mention?
Boy. Um, I agree with you. These first 30 minutes are a bit of a slog. We're introducing a lot of people, and not only that, there's so much going on that like I feel like I haven't gotten to know anybody really because like you mentioned before, you've got three kind of throughputs right now. You've got Sam's storyline with Michaela and him getting the car, who turns out to be Bumblebee. You got this whole situation in the Middle East, and then you got the situation with the Secretary of Defense and these hackers trying to figure out what's going on. That is a lot to introduce in 30 minutes. And when you split up that time amongst all of these people, you're you're not doing a very good job of giving any of these characters any agency. You're not doing anything for motivation. You're just trying to throw as much. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that something sticks. And unfortunately, nothing sticks here because there's so much going on. So you're right. It is a bit of a slog. The action set piece in the Middle East was cool, but just because it's cool doesn't mean that it's plot relevant or it matters in the grand scheme of things. Um, if it could have been more stuff like that, I think I would have been happier, but it wasn't. And now we still have 2 hours left to go through this movie.
And we haven't even got to the worst part. I
Yeah.
feel like that this last half, these next 30 minutes are the worst parts of the movie. So we're going to get to that right now. Um, Back at the Pentagon, where the teams are trying to figure out this threat is, we go to the Air Force One, where the president happens to be making a ding dong reference. I don't know if you've ever eaten a ding dong before, not it's the wagon wheel kind of thing. Um, uh, that's where I got to because the lady actually eats the ding dong while downstairs, and she just gross. Um, we get to see this. I'm gonna call him horny robot. If you figure out what that means, if you remember him hacking the system, he does a little bit of a weird thing that makes him look like he's horny. So I'm making an executive decision that I am naming him horny robot.
That's
So
fair.
hashtag horny robot. He does a bunch of. This movie is so horny that it's just so stupid.
Mhm.
Um, he searches to the server to find the whereabouts of Project Iceman. He finds it. He gets attacked by the FBI or whoever's security. They don't find out who he is, and they don't find out what's going on. And he sneaks out of the plane. He sneaks into Barrage, I believe the police car is,
Hmm.
and he gets to reveal everything and finds out that Sam Witwicky is the person that they need to find out where the location of the cube is. Back at the not the Weed Wiki, the Witwicky house. B apparently is leaving now, and Labum is going to get his car back on his on a. Is this where he gets the girly bicycle, or is that later?
I think that's later. I,
Okay,
I think.
I do not remember if he used the same bicycle or whatnot because I didn't even bother to pay attention. But I do know he gets a girly bike, which is
Hmm.
again a plain joke to his character. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
anyways, we get to go to this train at dock station where we get to see B transform for the first time in robot form, and he puts a beacon in the sky for his robot fellows to see. Sam is trying to get before he gets a little closer. He records a dumb message that says, "Hi, mom and dad, I love you. I love you too, Mojo." He basically says he loves him, Mojo, more than he loves his father. So that was a little bit weird. Sam gets chased by these dogs, and B ends up rescuing him, and the police finds LeBum and arrests him without even seeing B. So I don't even know if you're arguing about B being the best wingman even counts here because he just left his to hang dry.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. I will give you that.
um now again, this movie jumps all over the place. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We're back at the Pentagon, but the secretary gets informed about the hack that happened at Air Force One. The lead girl Maggie, who actually discovered the hack and alerts everybody that was happening, she comes in and steps into the meeting room, gives her insight about the situation and how it doesn't make sense that any other countries would be attacking. They mention something about North Korea forming their defenses, and people are and the U.S. is thinking that it was an attack, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to her eyes. She tries to give her opinion about it, and the secretary just says, "Look, if you can find your if you can find what your proof to this situation, we'll agree with you. But you just scum along, Maggie. We don't need you." Shia LaBeouf really hates his female characters. Like he treats them poorly.
Mhm.
Um. Anyways, we're back with the soldiers on the Middle East. They arrive at the town to try and contact the U.S. Air Force and to try and get them to get home. And then they get attacked again by this robot scorpion. Now, I will again say that this is a cool scene, but like you mentioned before, it doesn't relevant anything. It just basically gives them an idea of what they're facing. I do like the scene though. It was a nice little scene because
Mhm.
we get the army attacking and fleeing. We get the people from the village help coming to help in. We also get a nice little gag about Lennox calling the Pentagon, and then he gets this call from like this kind of scammer saying, "Do you have your credit card on you?" So I found that pretty funny. I don't know if you get any calls with this in the U.S., but we get a lot of calls where these scammers are trying to portray businesses,
Mhm.
and they're saying like, "Oh, we just need your credit card, we need your information number and stuff to like run our business and run our diagnostics and all that, and we'll be able to help your services there." Do you
Yes,
guys get that a lot in the U.S.?
we get those all the time. And thankfully, my phone, whenever I get some of these messages, it is labeled possible fraud. Not like like I'm 90% certain. It's like, well, maybe I'll answer it and maybe it won't be somebody who's trying to get me to re-up my warranty or trying to get me to sign up for a loan for something. And most of the time, it's just either an automated message or just heavy breathing, and I don't like it. So, yes, to answer your question, yes, we get those every day.
Well, I'm glad that we have at least again something else in common. For Canada and U.S., I don't know if you've ever been paying attention to the news, but apparently Donald Trump said something about Canada becoming U.S. and Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau came and chimed into it. To my
Yeah,
personal opinion, I do not want you guys to inhabit our land. I'd rather keep where Canada is. I don't want your bucks to influence us.
yes,
So
I would agree. I would definitely agree with that. Let Canada just continue to be Canada, and the United States doesn't need to expand anymore. That's not the problem. I don't understand why this is even a thing, but it's a thing because Donald Trump wants it to be a thing. That's why.
yep. Also, news. By the time that we're recording this, Justin Trudeau is gone.
Yes.
Yay! He's
Mhm.
resigning.
Mhm.
Finally, hallelujah. Although the Liberals are still in charge. Boo. Hopefully, we can get Pierre Polyev into the office. Anyways, we get this fight with the Scorpion, and they actually found a way, even with the credit card scam, to get a hold of the Pentagon, and they send out the Predator. Again, I don't know if this is a horny reference or whatever, but it just screams horny reference to me. So again, a very horny movie. I do not like this type of humor. It's just something that I don't like a lot. And then along with the other jets, they come to assist the crew down there, and they shoot the Scorpion, and it flees, and the crew is rescued. And now we're back at Maggie again. Do you guys like these abrupt changes of scenery with these three plot lines? Yeah, I definitely do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, the girl that gets yeah, just to tell you, she takes a copy of the file to give it to someone that she knows. I think his name is Glenn. I'm not sure if you could correct me on that or not. Um, he goes to Glenn's house to try and hack and figure it out. She goes in the house. Glenn yells at his grandma because his grandma's yelling at him. Um, that was also kind of funny. Like I found it pretty enjoyable just to see this overweight guy, just yelling at his grandma for no reason. That was kind of pretty funny. And then he gives him I guess he also the note that he was yelling to her about her prune juice. I do not know why the prune juice is even relevant. It is just something that just happens. And then she gives him the file to just take a look, interrupting his brother or cousin's, I guess, Just Dance kind of routine. I don't know if it was Just Dance or whatnot. I don't even care. Again, I don't care about half this movie. This is
Mhm.
why this thing is so bad, and I am just, ugh. The Pentagon get the photos of the attack on not only the Scorpion attack, but also the one from the helicopter robot from the base, and they figure out that Maggie took a copy of the file and that it has left the building. And so now they send FBI agents to go and attack Maggie and Glenn's house to try and find out why they were doing it, and then they show up to arrest them. Again, abrupt change of scenery. Back with Sam. B stalks him. Apparently, from Sam's perspective, the robot was stalking him. I don't know what you're expecting because this robot has still been with you. So, again, horny movie.
Mhm.
Also, very like it's a movie that you should not.
Mhm.
I'd rather delete this first half. Sam runs away on the girly bike. That was a kind of a cute moment, but why was his father giving this to him? Like, this is just such a nerdy move, and it's just something that his father really hates him.
Mhm.
Um, so now he's running away from B, and so again, plot conveniences. He runs into Megan Fox again. That's why, how. And then Megan Fox decides to ditch her friends. Why would you ditch your friends for this douchebag? Like, this is just again, this movie is just so inconsistent with a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, she we get to see this police car back, and he's basically interrogating ladies man 1295.
I think it's like 2197 or something like that.
Okay.
His just great eBay handle where just back in the day when people would just put whatever they want in there instead of just something generic like your first and last name or something.
Well, I go next hand to generic. I basically do hello there. So that's most of my handles that I got. It's not my Instagram handle because I found that they would be too cringy for other people to just see.
Hmm.
Um, so now we get to meet with this police car. He interrogates Sam. He runs to Megan Fox, and B comes to the rescue. Thank you, B, for stalking Sam and coming to the rescue. You're basically back to wingman territory.
Yes, he
We'll get to figure
is.
out we'll
Yes,
get to
he
figure out that
is.
one later on. They get chased. Again, cool car chase, not relevant to the plot. Ugh.
Mhm.
Again. Ugh. They enter this warehouse where Barrage and B are fighting, and the humans are fighting the horny robot, and basically, uh, Megan Fox decides to do something for once in her life and grabs a handsaw and basically just cuts his arms and his head off. So, yeah, girl boss Megan Fox. The only time that she ever did something. Except maybe she might have done something in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, but I'm not sure. So yeah, she that robot dies, and then his head gets kicked by Labum because we need Shia LaBeouf to at least do something in this movie.
Mhm.
So he's not redeemed yet, but he finally does something to make him feel like important. So yeah, B approaches Sam and Megan Fox and communicates with them by radio. Now, if Transformers fans don't know what the heck this is and what this is alluding to, if you remember the old comics and the old history, you might remember that B was a scout before, and he got sent to go and infiltrate the Decepticon base. And Megatron basically ripped off his vocal cords. We get a little bit of that retcon from the Bumblebee movie, but I don't mind it too much because it's still kind of the same thing. So
Mhm.
they get. I honestly do want to applaud the movie for having B being communicated by radio. Like I thought that was a really cool Easter egg.
That
If
was
I was gonna be
cool.
honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That was a interesting and innovative way for Bumblebee to communicate until eventually he doesn't anymore.
And then it just gets retconned in Revenge of the Fallen, and then it
Hmm.
just comes back from the last night. Like
Hmm.
this is just
Yeah.
Michael
He-
Bay. Stop directing movies and just direct action pieces. That's all you need to do.
yeah.
Anyways, make again. B becomes the wingman and has Megan Fox. Well, I guess not. This was a move by Sam to have her sitting on her lap because apparently you need a seatbelt. Megan Fox, the porn star, announces this move, and then she just trashes Bumblebee for being in this crappy Camaro. Now, I will admit this Camaro is not trashy at all. I don't know what you're talking about, Megan Fox. I love this style of Camaro. It's not the better style that we have of a Camaro, but it's still pretty nice. I don't know
Mhm.
what you think about it, but it is definitely a really cool style. And then,
I thought the style was fine. When it transforms to a newer style, I thought that was on par at best.
uh,
The style
yeah,
is the style of the Camaro is cool.
yeah.
I will give it that.
So yeah, B kicks him out because he's offended, and then he goes to transfer to this new car. And because of this, Sam and him finally sit in different seats. So again, B being a bad wingman. So
There's
bad B.
it's
Um,
two instances of being a good wingman, two instances of being a bad one. So
yeah,
we'll see at the end of the episode, or we'll see at the end of the movie, what side of the coin Bumblebee ends up on when it comes to being a
absolutely.
wing car, I guess, or wing
Yeah.
transformer.
Oh, can we even call it a wing car? Like, couldn't we call it like? Cause it's a car. It doesn't have wings.
Yeah,
So
that's
we got to come up with a new nickname.
okay.
Third wheel. Third wheel. There.
They're
That's a
they're
perfect. There
they're
we go.
per
There we go.
that is actually a pretty spot on nickname.
And now I don't know why it took them 30 minutes to finally be here, but the Transformers are finally coming. They're finally coming from the sky. I don't know why the Decepticons came before them, but who cares? We get them coming around um, in random locations. I do like when Ironhide is just crashes in the pool and the girl is just asking, "Are you the Tooth Fairy?" I found that to be a little bit adorable because not because of this, but it's kind of funny because she thinks that a robot is a tooth fairy. So,
Hmm.
again, kind of cute. There's some cute moments. This that doesn't mean that the movie is good.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we get introduced to these robots that meet up with Sam and Megan Fox and B at a random alleyway. Probably not the one that Bruce Wayne got shot in, but it's kind of pretty close to that.
Yeah, probably it's probably not the same one.
But it's kind of close.
Yeah,
Like
it looks
there has to be a theater
it looks very
nearby.
similar to the same alley.
DC and Hasbro games crossover. Find out next week if that happens. Um, so now we get introduced to Optimus Prime. We get introduced to Ratchet, Ironhide, and Jazz because they didn't want to afford any other voice actors, so we just have 5 Transformers from the Autobot side. So we get more in the next couple movies, but yeah, this is a good starting ground, I think.
Mhm.
And then we get introduced in 2 minutes, or around 2 minutes, the introductions to the origins of Cybertron and why they're here in the Allspark, and Megatron and the other war crap that we don't care about. This literally takes a span of 2 minutes. Why is it this short amount of time? Um, Now we get to find out that Captain Witwicky actually made a discovery while he was at the Arctic Circle and found Megatron, and basically activated his flight navigation system accidentally and got the stuff imprinted on his glasses. I like how
Obviously. Yeah.
is your piano. I hate to break this to you. Is your piano like flashing red lights, or am I just going crazy?
No, it is. It's a training piano for my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't just do that randomly. It's part of a way to show her how to play certain songs.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know why I noticed it until now, but it's just like it seemed a little weird that red dots were appearing randomly. So, I mean, it's a lot better than what I have. I have a door
It's
frame and a wood door frame with blue tape in the background. Like, it's honestly better than that.
The piano is not haunted or anything like that, although that would be a better story
Is
than
it? Is
it's a
it haunted
training.
by? Is it haunted by Megan Fox?
No, no.
Is it haunted by Shia LaBeouf?
It is
Who
haunted.
knows?
It's haunted by Captain Archibald Wickwiki and his glasses that got imprinted with, valuable data that obviously just helps drive the plot forward.
And that's what this movie is for. I'm going to be going to a couple of reasons why I really hate the first hour. We are in the halfway point, ladies and gentlemen, where this movie just actually gets a little bit better, but not like as bad as we get it. Um, this movie just moves the plot along. Like there is no character development. Everyone is still the same as they are right now, except Shia LaBeouf is a little bit more jerkish. Megan Fox is still the porny actress that she is. It's just unbelievably slow. And the fact that they took 1 hour to even introduce all the other Autobots is a kind of ridiculous. Like I feel like that you could cut down all the Sam Witwicky stuff and then introduce the Autobots like maybe 20 minutes into the movie at least.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of plot issues that I think this movie has with that. But also again, I have to commemorate. I hate Megan Fox in everything she does. Every movie that she's in, every movie, they make her a porn actress. I do not like that. She can't act to save her life. The only thing that she's good for is her looks and to make teenage boys horny. That is a sentiment that I never thought I would say. I am honestly not a big fan of this. It's just not for me. It's not a taste that I like. I don't know if other people like it. Fine. I can't judge you on your decisions, but this just doesn't make a movie a movie. You're just implementing an idea that you have to make women sexy and you have to make them like this beautiful thing, and you're just presenting it to the boys as reality when that's not reality. And again, come back to Shia LaBeouf swinging for the big swings. That's not realistic. It will never be realistic on any standard. So there's more reasons why I hate the first half, but I feel like that throughout this episode, I have definitely given a lot of it. Is there any? Also, before you give your comments on the last 30 minutes, I have a little trivia piece for you.
Okay.
Did you know that Barrage was originally going to be an Autobot named Prowl?
Hmm. Okay.
So apparently, the original intent was that the police car was going to be an Autobot named Prowl, but Michael Bay changed it to be in the Decepticon named Barrage, which I believe he's from the comics. But yeah, that was something cool that I found. It's not really useful, but it would make the fight a little bit lenient towards the Autobot side, but I felt like that maybe you can add another Autobot in there just to make things a little bit more interesting. I believe if you can remember Prowl from the original Transformers Generation 1, that was definitely an idea that... is he in Generation 1? I don't remember. My mind is blurry because I'm talking about Transformers. Do you have anything to add from the last 30 minutes that we've talked about in this movie? Like anything you like? Anything that you want to point out?
So I think the biggest thing that I kind of recognize with this second 30-minute block is something that you said was that it takes way too long to introduce your main core of Autobots. And that's a problem because this movie is not called Sam Witwicky and Friends Discover, just discover transforming robots. No, it's called Transformers. And when you take an hour to explain and set up all the human story to get to the things that we actually want to see, that's a problem with pacing and that's a problem with the script. The other thing too is that I do have to take Michael Bay to task a little bit because Optimus is fine, like as a character. He's good.
Yeah.
Jazz and Ironside or Ironhide a little character not as bad as the some of the Autobots in Revenge of the Fallen, which are like clearly these are characters and borderline racist, but
Are you talking about the two twins?
yes.
Okay.
So, but Jazz and Ironhide a little bit. I did get a little bit of a chuckle when they said, how did you learn Earth's language and languages?" And it's like, "We learned it from the World Wide Web." Like, what a horrible way to learn language. That is like the modern equivalent of when people say that they learned how to speak English through television. So I did get a little bit of a chuckle with that, but it also kind of made me cringe a little bit because just like what was it? One of them said like, "What's cracking, little bees," or something like that. I don't know.
That was Jazz, I think.
Yeah, and it's like nobody talks like that. Like, and so how did you know that that's how people talk? I don't know, but from this point forward with any of the Transformers, like I'm in. Like I will like I'm locked in. But then unfortunately the humans get in the way. So there's that.
I do have to make a comment about the World Wide Web. Like, did they just arrive like 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Like,
But they're
again,
they're but
it doesn't make sense.
they're
It
computers.
doesn't.
They're computers. It's fine. Like they could just
It's
absorb
not
all of
fine
that
though, because
knowledge.
they're alien robots. They're not computers. They're aliens. Again, the plots, the writing. What on earth is going on?
But you can just explain all of that away with technology mumbo jumbo. Like it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So in a movie group that I'm in, and I gotta give credit to my buddy Nick. This is a plot that is a plot moment that we like to affectionately call a shut up nerd moment. Cause that's like when you start to think about something and like, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I could just see the screenwriter or the director being like, shut up, nerd. That's just how this story goes. So just kind of go from there. And to me, that part was like for me like a total shut up nerd moment because it's like yeah okay that's fine you've been here 5 minutes. I don't know how you understand the World Wide Web because you're not connected to the internet or anything like that. You don't even know what it is. That's fine. Okay, I'll just buy it. That's cool. Okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that through the mic. I just like gave a big burp.
No, I didn't
Okay,
hear
good.
it.
Okay, good. That makes sense. I still don't like it though.
Oh no, no, yeah,
I'm gonna put it against Bay. So
and that's perfectly fine because that's probably true.
we're gonna have to put everything against Bay to get him. And I will be honest, all the movies that he has produced after it, he has had no touch in it,
Mhm.
except for maybe the action sequences,
Mhm.
which that is what he can do.
Yep.
Stick with it, Bay. do not direct another Transformers movie ever again, or I will shoot you.
Hmm.
I won't shoot you. It's just a joke. But still, please don't. We beg you.
Yeah.
Us Transformers fans, we have Transformers 1. We might not even get Transformers 2 because Hasbro Gaming is being stupid.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you've heard the news about them shutting down their movie studio stuff, but it's sad to see.
That is a little sad because their plans for a shared universe, and I think that's kind of one thing that kind of irked me about this movie as well, is that I don't like it when movie studios try to establish a shared universe with the first movie, because it's like you're looking three movies ahead and you can't even make a first good one. Like, let's calm down a little bit and let's kind of just focus on establishing the characters and establishing a world. Not We don't need a shared universe for everything. So I, would it have been cool? Yes, but Paramount to this point, or just all the studios that have been involved with the Hasbro universe, they haven't really proven that they've been able to make consistent good movies. They make one like every now and again, but the consistency was never there.
I feel like they've been more consistent though because of Transformers Rise of the Beast and Bumblebee and Transformers 1 coming back to back to back. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like that people overhate Transformers Rise of the Beast for a lot of reasons. Number one, the girl character is not written. Again, that's a Michael Bay flaw. But I mean, at least the guy character is written okay. Like, he was an okay character. But people, I think, overhate Rise of the Beast for a
Yeah,
lot of reasons.
I would say
And
that
I,
too.
and I would say that again, it is probably the second best Transformers movie ever.
Hmm.
Other I, the live action, I don't know where I would put Transformers 1, but it would definitely be high.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they've been consistent. I do want to, I am interested in the idea of, because if you watch Rise of the Beast, you get that final scene where they tease G.I. Joe. Like, I was like excited. Like, that
Hmm.
was, I really want them to get a good G.I. Joe movie done. Because if they could get a good Transformers movie done, I believe they could get a good G.I. Joe one done. So
Well, and
I
they've
really
only
hope.
tried three GI Joe movies, like one,
Did
like
they?
two. Yeah, because they did Rise of Cobra, they did Retaliation, I think that
That
was
was the
called,
second one, yeah.
and then they did the prequel E one, the Snake Eyes one.
Oh, right. Okay, you're equivalent that to it. Okay, yeah, I have not seen the Snake Eyes yet. Did
Eh,
you see Snake Eyes? Is
yeah,
it any good?
eh, it's it's fine.
Is is
It's
it at least better than the other two?
no,
Ah,
no.
it's not worth my time then.
That is probably true. So
Yeah,
take it as my opinion. I cannot speak for everybody else, but I thought it was perfectly fine. And for a third movie in a franchise with just pretty mid movies to begin with, this was not inoffensively bad, but it just was not good either. A ringing endorsement, I'm sure.
fair enough. Um, I guess we jump into the last hour. We are not going to have any
Let's do it.
pauses until the end of the movie.
Oh,
So this
okay.
is going to be a little bit of a longer ride, although I have summarized a lot into a bunch of shorter paragraphs. So this won't feel that long at all. So let's get into it. We are now with Lennox and his team. They are flying back home to get to see the remains of the Scorpion, and the Scorpion decides to attack. I don't know if this is an effect of if you split a worm in two halves, the both of them are still alive kind of stick. But I don't know. It was kind of funny. It was kind of not. It was just okay. Um, we get to also go back to the Pentagon and see Maggie and the Hacker are getting interrogated with a plate of donuts. We get an argument from Glenn that says, "Oh, if they want to scare you, so you have to eat all the donuts," and then he just completely falls out of the character and basically blames Maggie for everything, which she also blames herself. So good job, Maggie. You're actually a good human character being written by Michael Bay. So uh,
Hmm.
I am gonna get. Ugh, I hate Transformers 1 already. We come back to the Witwicky house where the parents are lazily watching the news, while Sam Labum is having a cringy moment with his father. Um, And then the Autobots roam around in the backyard, clumsily destroying crap. And then the dog pees on Ironhide's foot. And and all the while, Sam and Megan Fox are going to go get the glasses from Sam's room. Um, yeah, we could go back into this. The parents come into the upstairs because they thought they heard something, and the parents make their mistake when they see Megan Fox, and as they're doing their thing, and they think that they're doing
This
the thing.
this was
So
so uncomfortable to
I
watch.
know,
I was
I
just
like.
like this was pretty bad.
Probably
Yeah.
the worst scene in the movie, but it's in probably the best hour of the movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, they do that. Anyways, they throw the lone. They have the lone transformer in there for no reason, so they have a reference in there. Sector 7. I do not remember where this is from in any Transformers lore. You could correct me on that if you want. They decide to show up and infiltrate the Witwicky household, and they take the whole family. And as they're traveling out with Mr. Douchebag, that's what I'm going to call him. I think you know what I'm talking about. He is commenting about Megan's Fox dad being a criminal, and he's also a creepy weirdo because he's saying that criminals are hot. So, are you calling Megan Fox hot, or are you calling Megan Fox's dad hot? So you should really pick your lane, buddy. Anyways, we get the Autobots coming into the rescue. There's an attempt of a reconciliation scene between Labum and Foxy because of the whole reveal thing. B also pisses on the Sector 7 leader, Mr. Douchebag, and they also handcuff the guys, and Fox tells the douchebag to strip down as revenge for telling her secret. So I found that to be pretty funny. That was the only thing that I found in Megan Fox's dialogue that was funny. It was just a kind of a revenge thing. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's not worth it. When all things were going well, Sector 7 gets in backup. The Autobots escape, except for Bumblebee. And the Autobots get the glasses, while B and Sam and Megan Fox go to the, whatever the dam is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ho-
I don't know what
Hoover,
the.
Hoover Dam in Arizona or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It was very weird when they were like, yeah, Hoover Dam. Sure. Okay. I don't it it was just a very weird plot point and a very weird place to have this part of the story happen. But whatever. Whatever.
We'll get into we'll get to it. I don't find it that weird because they go to explain a little bit about the lore, a little bit more about Transformers and just how they got there. So, now we get the Secretary of Defense and the other analysts to get greeted by more Sector 7 guys in the Pentagon. There's a hacky trick that happens with the Decepticons that apparently hacked their system again. And then they explain why they're there and what happened to the rover on Mars, because apparently they sent one there, and the mission was deemed failure, but really wasn't because they discovered a transformer there. I don't know what transformers this is, but I don't know, it doesn't really look that familiar because we only get to see a quick shot of him, and he's not even in his classic form, so we don't even know who he is. Anyways, they take the two analysts and the Secretary of Defense to this new base, which is in Arizona. And now they also go to gather the Lennox team to also bring them to this base. And it turns out that all the Autobots and Decepticons are here too. They're all searching for the Allspark, and basically, and the Autobots specifically are planning to destroy the cube. Because if you don't know by now, the plan for the Decepticons is that they want to use this cube to change all of Earth's technology to become other robots. So, congratulations, Decepticons. You're going to transform our crappy technology into crappy Decepticons. So, congratulations. So yeah, we get this, let's go see this Iceman, aka Megatron, or NBE1. Is it
Mhm.
NBE? Did I get that right?
Non-biological entity or no, yeah, something like that.
Or is it NBA? Entity.
Or
I
is it
don't know.
NBO, non-biological organism?
Organism. Oh yes, maybe that might be it. Whatever it is, it is Megatron. He is frozen. They have revealed that again that Sam Witwicky's father discovered him as the greatest discovery in mankind. Um, it turns out the Allspark is here too. It's never explained how they found. It's kind of explained how they found it because the seven. We don't even know who these seven people are, but apparently they found the Allspark, and that's where, I guess, Sector 7 is named after. Um, the weird horny robot is back because he was disguised as Sam's phone all this time, and he gets to touch the Allspark and he gets his whole body back, and then he gets to contact all of the Decepticons to come to the dam to get the Allspark and Megatron, and they are on their way. And now there is a bad science experiment with a bad Wolverine pun and a bad Nokia phone joke saying it's from Japan, but it's actually from Finland. And the Secretary of Defense is basically saying that this douchebag is special. So I'm thinking that he's maybe autistic, or maybe he has autisms. So I don't know. Take it as you will. But anyways, we get this experiment with the phone transforming, and it dies. So it doesn't have to do much damage with that. It just basically proves the point. Um, we get to the point where the cons are starting to break in now. The Autobots start to come into the rescue. At least they are on their way. And then Megatron, this is the point where he starts defrosting. Now, because this is happening, Sam gives the idea that he demands a B to be released from wherever he is. Mr. Douchebag, again, he argues. Mr. Lennox and his team starts to interfere. There's some funny jokes that happens here because the Secretary of Defense is like, if I were you, I would do what he says because he has a gun. So basically, this douchebag is being willed towards this military group, and now Sector 7 has no authority at all. So congratulations, Sector 7, you don't exist. You have no authority over the military. We get this. They have freeze B. They go get the cube. It shrinks. They all leave except for the Secretary of Defense and the two analysts and Mr. Douchebag because they want to try and contact the Air Force because still their comms are down. And apparently there is a vault where they can go and get to the archives to where they can contact the Air Force by any way possible. Am I boring you a little bit with all this that's happening?
No.
Okay. The good stuff is coming. I promise you the good stuff is coming. So
sorry, those are just parent yawns. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. For those who are noticing, our friend here is yawning, and I have to agree with him. This part is a little bit boring, but it's much better than Shia LaBeouf interacting with his parents and Megan Fox.
I will wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I would much rather watch this part because there's actual Transformers in this, and there's actually something kind of going on to drive the plot forward with the Allspark. So I will give it a little bit of credit for that. But yeah, if we just keep going with this, yeah, it does get better.
Yeah. So yeah. And now Megatron is free, so that's bad. It's bad for everybody.
Yep.
And this is the first instance where this Megatron is appearing in all 6 of the Transformers movies, which is annoying. Why can't you have another original antagonist? Like, do someone else. Where's the Quintessons? Where's Galvatron? Galvatron was in the 4th one. Where's the other people? Honestly, don't use Megatron. Rise of the Beast learned a lesson, and actually, I really like the villain from Rise of the Beast. So,
Megatron's the most recognizable one, so it's just the easiest.
Here's the problem, though. They keep killing him. He keeps dying, and he keeps resurrecting. My problem is that, okay, here's my thing. I would like it if he stayed alive. And that would make sense of why he would be a villain in all the movies. But they just keep killing him over and over and over and over and over again. Although I don't think he dies in Revenge of the Fallen. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. I do not like the overusage of bringing Megatron back from the dead.
I agree. It gives me kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe. It's like, we're really doing Shredder again?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many others that we could do from this, but no, Shredder one more time? Great. Cool. Thank you.
Hey, at least the Seth Rogen produced film didn't use Shredder. They did tease him though. So I was just about to say that. It's like there's a tease for it at the end, but okay,
you're right.
Question for you: did you like that movie?
I did. I did. I quite
Okay,
enjoyed it. Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it a lot. I'm
Yeah.
actually excited for the sequel. Who
Yes.
knew that Seth Rogen could produce a good movie?
He's got an okay track record, but yes, like when I heard that Seth Rogen was going to produce a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I kind of scratched my head a little bit, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Did we even get the Seth Rogen laugh in the movie?
No, well, actually, probably
That's what I'm assuming. I don't remember it happening, but it's like he always has it in every movie that he does. I
yes,
remember the Super Mario Brothers, which, by the way, him as Donkey Kong, perfect casting. I love
yes,
that. But
yes, that was great.
the only thing that turns me off about that was his laugh, because he just does it when
It's
Mario was
it
just
just
sad.
it just takes yeah, it just like takes you out of it. It's like that's not
Exactly.
Donkey Kong, that's Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
No.
And it's the opposite side with Jack Black too, because Jack Black as Bowser, that was a perfect casting. I didn't think that he was going to be perfect, but he just changes his voice so. Man, I love Jack Black's Bowser. We have to talk about the Mario movie at some point in this podcast. Um,
Yes.
anyways, where was I? Megatron is free. He meets up with Starscream, and we have the usual banter with Megatron and Starscream, which I love. I love that they keep that in this movie. As you disappoint me, Starscream. I love that so much. It's something that I also like from this movie that it does. Um, now the team at the base is trying to get the signal working. The Autobots meet up with the team heading to the city and to protect them. This is Lennox's team led by Bumblebee with the cube. And meanwhile, the horny robot is trying to get into the archives to the humans. The humans do what they can to try to survive and transmit a message to the Air Force. And we do get this awesome little thing where the guy shoots off some flying ninja stars. Ninjas. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I can't say ninja stars correctly. Ninja stars at
Hmm.
them. That was quite cool. I
Hmm.
like that. But
Yeah.
again, it doesn't drive the plot.
Hmm.
Anyways, back with the Autobots, they have some problems to deal with because the cons are starting to attack them. They attacked them on the highway leading to the city. Now, do we know the city that they're going to? Because you said that this was taking place around Arizona, so I'm wondering, is this going to a city in Arizona or is this going to somewhere close?
Oh, let me see where
Because we get Chicago in the third movie, and that's the big battle. I'm just
that's.
wondering where the
I
original movie had it.
I thought this was in. I think it's just like it's a random city in Southern California. It's called Mission City. So,
So they just make up a random city.
well, I don't. It's not made up, but it is. It's not like it's Los Angeles or San Diego or San
Yeah,
Francisco,
yeah.
like one of these bigger cities.
Honestly, I would have loved it to be San Diego. Like I would have loved to have a little bit of a setting with that because we don't have a lot of settings with the movies
No.
with that. Have you watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Just
Yep.
as a random question. So
Hmm.
it sets that movie has a set place in San Diego and it does it perfectly. Like that bridge swinging scene at the end of the movie,
That was great.
man, that was peak.
Hmm.
Um, by the way, what did you think of Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Did you like that one?
So I think Rise of the Planet of the Apes, all three of those movies are are really great and they work really well as a trilogy. And they're among one of the like better trilogies and dare I say maybe underrated trilogies
Absolutely,
of the
absolutely.
21st century.
Absolutely, and honestly, that's where I thought for a long time, and I thought I was the only one to think about that. But my uncles also believe that. My
Mhm.
uncle's co-host also believes that. And now you believe that. So, did you know that they were actually reboots of the original Planet of the Apes movies?
Mm.
Well, I guess
Okay.
reboot remakes,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, like a retconning in a way.
Retconning in a way, yep. And then they just released their fourth movie last year called Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know if you've ever checked that out yet, but you should definitely do that. It's not as good as the other three, but it's definitely
It's still pretty serviceable. Problem with that, the human characters, again, just come on. What are we doing?
what is
Like,
with people writing human characters? It's not just Michael Bay. His curse is getting over everybody.
yeah,
How dare you, Michael Bay? Like,
yeah.
what is your problem? Um, yeah, so now we get to the highway. They get to go to this Mission City, I guess, as you call it. They're trying to surround themselves, and they see the F-22 that's flying over them. They're thinking they're a part of the good guys, but it turns out it's Starscream. And he attacks, Bumblebee lost his legs, and this is where the real battle begins. And this is where I think it's the definite best part in the movie, and I think that this is where, like, from this point on, is where I think people judge this movie as good as it is, just based off this part and not off anything else. So we'll get into that right now. I have a very short paragraph. This should take me at least 5 minutes to get through.
Okay.
Megatron enters the city, and Megan Fox hotwires a tow truck. Yay, we like that. We like when Megan Fox gets out of the picture. Jazz gets torn in half by Megatron. That was also quite funny because Megatron just basically does a pun. I want you in pieces, and so that was quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
Also, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Did you know? Here's another trivia piece. Did you know that Megatron is being voiced by the Red Skull in Captain America: The
Hugo
First Avenger?
Weaving. Yeah, yeah. Hugo Weaving in the early 2000s just had a run of just great fantasy and science fiction IP. So he was in Lord of the Rings, he was V in V for Vendetta, he was the voice of Megatron, and then he ended up being the Red Skull as well. That is just, and he's also Agent Smith in The Matrix. That is just legendary status for somebody who, like anybody that follows science fiction or fantasy, that just hits all the great beats.
I will say though, like, I'm not the biggest fan of his voice performance as Megatron. Like,
Oh yeah, like
it's
his voice as Megatron doesn't really lend itself to anything because it's it's not really like performance driven or anything like that. Plus, his voice is very muffled, so like you could barely tell. Plus,
and
also like the script is just not great for him
well,
either.
it's not great for him too because it's like he doesn't even have that much lines in the movie. He
Mm.
probably has like maybe 20 lines, maybe
Yeah.
even less.
Hmm.
So I would say first of all, waste of a talent. Number one, number two, get a better voice actor because I believe that there's a better one. I would even go to say that The Last Night, as bad of a movie is, I think its Megatron voice actor was actually really good. I loved the voice actor for Megatron, and I loved his design. That's enough praise for Michael Bay's whatever the movie's called. We want to forget about it now.
Yeah.
So now basically they latch Bumblebee to the back of the tow truck. Lennox tells Sam to go to this building to wave a flare around like wave your hands in the air like you
Hmm.
just don't care, and basically to try and take him away to safety. Um, so now and then Fox, and I don't know why I write this as bum, but it's B. I think I just autocorrect. I think my computer just autocorrected it to bum. So bad computer, bad computer. You're not worse than Michael Bay, but bad. So oh yeah, I know why it's bum. I called Sam bum because Sam's a real bum. Megan Fox and Sam have a moment here. It's not even a good moment. It lasts less than 20 seconds. The guy interrupts them. They don't even kiss. They don't even hug. They're like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I hope you make out of this alive." Or no, they actually went like, "Oh, I'm glad I got into that car with you." Which time? The first time or the second time? Because if it was the first time, then you definitely should have ran away like that. So, he should run away. Um, the cons attack. Optimus and Megatron get to finally meet up for the first time in the movie, which is kind of a little bit weird that this is the first time that they meet up. They get to have their first big fight. They have two big fights in the movie. We'll get to hear the second one in a little bit. Sam heads to the building with the protection of the Autobots. Megatron hunts down Sam. Sam accidentally, while running, activates the cube, and the electronics go mayhem. And so we get the steering wheel being transformed into a transformer. I don't know why it was just a steering wheel, and it could have been just the whole car in general. Um, so it's a little bit weird. Like you said, we get the vending machine, we get the other stuff that just gets randomly transformed into transformers. So that was a little bit lame. Um, we get to have Sam gets to the building, and where Megatron is trying to hunt him down, Fox decides for her own, like, again, another like bad a good girl in this movie. She drives the truck backwards and basically uses Bumblebee's arms to basically help out the military and help them defeat the Decepticon that they're facing. I think it was the tank one that they were facing this one. I could
Yeah,
be wrong though.
I think
Um,
so. Yeah.
Sam gets to the top of the building. He signals the flare. The copter comes. Starscream blows up the helicopter. Yay! Starscream actually did something good for once. For once in his lifetime, he did something good. Although I'm not sure if he's the one I know he helped eliminate Optimus Prime and Revenge of the Fallen, but we don't consider Revenge of the Fallen as canon for the Transformers movies. We don't consider that. We don't consider Age of Extinction. We don't consider The Last Night as canon to the whole Michael Bay universe. You can just consider this movie and Dark of the Moon, because I do think that Dark of the Moon is probably the better one out of the five.
So literally, you negate over half the movies because they're not good.
Yeah, I will negate over half the movies. Yeah,
that's fair.
Although I do think that Anthony Hopkins and Hot Rod from the Last Night were actually pretty good. So I'm actually a little bit sad that I'm negating them, but a sacrifice has to be paid.
Yes.
Like the movie said, no sacrifice, no victory. So I'm therefore doing the sacrifice. So I have victory. Everyone wins. Everyone wins by not watching Michael Bay's horny Transformers movies. So yeah, he signals a flare. Starscream shoots the helicopters down. Megatron pins him in the corner. Basically tries to be like, if you give me this cube, you'll be my pet. Like, what the heck are you gonna do to make him your pet? Like, are you just gonna make him like wash your metal? Are you gonna make him rust you? Are you gonna make him do whatever you're gonna do? I don't know why you would have a human as a pet. He says no. Megatron waves his like chain or whatever he has as a weapon, and then he falls. Optimus comes out of nowhere. Like, literally, he has been nowhere to see in this battle after Megatron defeats him the first time. And then he comes in and rescues him. Megatron, after that, I actually kind of like this part where Megatron flicks a human. Like, I really found it funny. Wish that we had a Willem Dafoe scream in that moment. That would have been a perfect. It would have been a top tier joke to have that happen. After that, he actually also calls him disgusting too. So I found that also pretty funny to go along with the joke. Both Megatron and Optimus have their second fight in the movie, and if Optimus loses, he tells Sam to put the Allspark inside his chest. And the one line of "one shall stand and one shall fall" quote gets mentioned here for the first time in the live action movies, which I don't know what to think of it now, because again, they keep bringing everybody back from the dead, so it makes no sense now. So what if we just do "everyone shall stand, no one shall fall"? That's basically the premise of the quote.
But the first time you see this, that was a pretty awesome moment, though.
Absolutely, I will agree. But
to your point, yes, the quote doesn't make any sense now looking back, when everybody gets up, everybody falls down, but everybody gets back up. Unfortunately, nobody actually stays dead in any of these movies, particularly Megatron, unfortunately.
Although someone that does actually stay dead is Starscream, so that one we're not sorry about Starscream. Starscream was a disappointment for way too long. We'll go on Megatron's side for this. So yeah, we get that quote. Lennox and his team fight this helicopter villain to get revenge on him for killing all their military friends. The humans, after that, they go to help Optimus with his fight against Megatron. Optimus is losing still, and then Sam somehow gets in between Megatron and Optimus. I don't know how that happened. I kind of skipped through that because I want to get this movie over with. So basically, instead of putting it in Optimus' chest, he puts it in Megatron's chest. Now, I don't know why Megatron didn't tell him to do this in the first place. I don't know if it was an act of mercy, but again, I'm going to question Optimus' logic here. If the Allspark is destroyed, is like literally like, are you assuming that Megatron's going to stop fighting? Like, I am really questioning. I do like Optimus as a character in this movie, but his thought process behind that was kind of a little bit outrageous.
Yes.
We're almost done here. Just give us a second here. He gets to put it up inside his chest. Victory. They all get together. They mourn Jazz as a character, and they celebrate the victory that they have over the humans. After this, we have a couple montage where Sector 7 is actually terminated, and all the remains of the Transformers that died in the battle are in the ocean, so that no one knows. I think that everyone's going to know after the battle. Like, there's still social media back in the day. You still have Facebook. You probably had the remnants of the starting of Twitter, or X as we call it nowadays. Like, everyone's gonna know. What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the literal point? And also, you're causing the problem because Revenge of the Fallen has the plot about getting Megatron's body out of the ocean, and they have
Yeah.
it for open. Like, I'm sick and done with this movie
Yeah.
because it just creates something that you should not have. Ugh. Anyways, this is probably the best part of the movie where we get Optimus' final speech and we get the overtop of What I've Done by Linkin Park.
By
Where
Linkin
this is,
Park.
as
Yes.
you know, Shrek made All Star famous. This made Linkin Park famous, and especially What I've Done. And also, was New Divide the one from Revenge of the Fallen, or did that come in Dark of the Moon?
I think it was in Revenge of the Fallen. Maybe.
It seems like that Michael Bay loves his Linkin Park, which I appreciate. I don't know if you were like if you got to see any of these memes, but we have a bunch of YouTube. I've got to see a bunch of these YouTube videos that were recommended to me that was like Spider-Man, but ended in 2003.
Yes,
and then they just,
yes,
and then they
I
just played What I've
love,
Done on top of it.
I
Or
love, I love that video series because it goes from, just very similar vibe where, just has people just like looking off into the distance, and just it cuts to, What I've Done by Linkin Park, but then it just gets to like super absurd things, and I'm all here for
what was the
that.
most absurd thing that you found for the What I've Done thing? Like, what was the most absurd one that you found on the internet?
I think it was take this with a grain of salt. It was from a movie that had to do with the Holocaust. It was like, wow, this is super dark. Like that was definitely like the weirdest one.
That is really weird, and my goodness.
Yeah.
And also, my favorite, my probably my most obscure one. This one was a serious, but this one's kind of dumb. Secret Life of Pets 2.
Yeah.
If you saw the end of it, oh my word, why did someone have to create that in the internet? You
Mhm.
probably could have created that for all the Illumination movies at this standard. So that's the end of the movie. That was a long one. If you felt like that this episode is long, watch the movie. You'll feel
Mhm.
even sadder. I do want to raise a couple questions. One question that I have for everybody here. I did not mention this exactly for this reason because I wanted to keep this as a final question to recap of the movie, and then we'll get to the whole reviews and stuff after that, and maybe we'll give your thoughts about the last hour in a little bit. Why do the Autobots care about Earth so much? Like, we get this notion throughout the whole movie that Optimus apparently cares about the human race, and there's no reason why he even cares about it. Like, we get nothing. He comes in like 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes he meets Sam. He's apparently trusting him, like with all this. Did he grow in that plot throughout the movie? Maybe, but he meets only one human, and the other humans that they meet, they just hate him.
Mhm.
So I love what Rise of the Beast does, where Optimus grows to love the humans, and because he doesn't just like approach one good human. He has a village of good people that hides the Maximals. But in this movie, he just meets Shia LaBum and Megan Fox porn star, and that's it. And that's the only kind of good human beings they meet. Other than that, and this is where he's convinced. He's convinced that humans are good when they're talking about the plan when they got the glasses. This was right after the humans attacked them. Like, where do you get this incentive that Optimus loves the humans so much and he wants to protect the Earth? Like, this character, like Optimus, I love Peter Cullen. I love you so much. But Optimus is just done dirty in this movie. Like, he is not a good character in this movie. And I
Mhm.
hate to break it to you now, but it's just disappointing.
It is pretty bad. To answer your first question, no, there's nothing in here to indicate how do we get from Optimus getting to Earth and then all of a sudden having this huge affinity for Earth. You get a little bit of this. So I go back to I go back to that part where Sam risks his life to protect the cube. And like Optimus says that too. It's like you risk your life to protect the cube. And that's where Sam says, no sacrifice, no victory, which is the motto that his great grandpa or whatever, the guy with the glasses, that was his motto too, I guess. So um I can see a little bit there where it's like, okay, you're growing to love the humans,
But
but
here's the
you're loving
problem.
just one human.
But
But
again, here's the problem. That happens after this whole scene with the robots where they're
yeah.
growing, where they're getting the coordinates for the cube. That's where he mentions that he cares about Earth. So again, I appreciate you're trying to defend this movie, but that doesn't make any sense compared to the fact that Optimus loves the humans. An hour into the we get an hour left of the movie, and now we get it was before Sam protected the cube. So what is he basing this off of? Because again, we go back to my logic. We just meet Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf's characters as the only good humans. I put it as air quotes because Shia LaBeouf is a dumb little. Ugh, my
Mhm.
word, I hate Shia LaBeouf. And, and then the other people that we get to meet Sector 7, which are mean, which are not, which are basically the second antagonists at this point to the Autobots. So there's nothing to love about Earth in this standpoint. So why did he come to this conclusion? There is nothing that adds up to make Optimus this character in this movie. I do not understand it. It makes no sense. Now, I do have a couple of quick little good comments here. I do love the CGI design of the robots,
Mhm.
except for one. I'll reveal it in a little bit. I feel like that with this realistic approach that with the Autobots and what they're looking like, I thought it was a cool design and a cool concept for the time. Although I do prefer the now um adaptations to the classic suits where we get from Generation One. Like I love those suits into live action. Like again, like I love like the designs from Rise of the Beast. They are so good, and I will fight you to the death on it if you disagree with me. They are so good, and I it's just amazing with what they can do. Although I do have to give a little bit of a nitpick to Megatron's design, I was not a fan of it. Like it's just this rusty old like guy here. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing special to him. They're building up Megatron as this big force an hour into the movie, and like, oh, he's gonna be so scary. He's gonna be this big guy. He's gonna kick. He's gonna get you. But then he's just this rusty old robot that's like missing parts and is just like
Yeah.
basically about to fall apart.
That that
Which
that
makes
was
this concept like him being a big villain like kind of a little bit worthless.
yep.
So it's like again, I love all the designs. I do think that Jazz's though was a little bit done dirty because he wasn't really like the best one. Ratchet's as well. I feel like that he could have it could have been a better design for him as well. But otherwise, I love the CGI designs of the Transformers. They are really good. Um, I also want to comment for the music of this movie because I do love the music.
Mhm.
It's a genuine miracle that the music was this good and how it adapts a little bit of the themes into it. Like we get a little bit of adaptation from Transformers Prime a little bit with some of the themes that this movie acquires. Um, but yeah, it's a great miracle that this movie is as with the music is as good as it is. Who does the music for this one? I'm actually curious if it's actually a well-known guy. Hang on one sec. I will
So
look this up.
Steve Jablonsky. He's collaborated with Michael Bay a, a couple of times on movies, but um
I'm just looking to see what else he did because I'm curious to see if he just okay. He just did Transformers movies. He also did the Borderlands movie, which apparently that was
that's
bad.
that was really bad.
He did the DC League of Super Pets movie. That was an okay movie. He
Mhm.
did Red Notice. I actually think that Red Notice is probably one of the most underrated Netflix movies that's ever come out. I love Red Notice a lot. Um, yeah, he did all the Transformers movies. He also did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one was a little bit that's a special project.
The
Um,
the Michael Bay one.
the Michael Bay one, yeah.
Mhm.
Ender's
Mhm.
Game. I don't know if you ever watched Ender's Game.
Mhm.
The Battleship movie, the epic Battleship movie that doesn't even mention Battleship once or even gives reference to the game. There's
Yeah.
also he also did a soundtrack for a video game, The Sims 3.
Oh, okay.
That's a little bit interesting.
Good for him.
I'm just looking to see if he did any good movies. Um, Give me one sec. He actually did Rise of the Beast too. So,
Yeah,
he also did Friday the 13th in 2009, And yeah, that's basically it. So he's basically a Transformers guy slash whatever he can do, whatever he wants to do. But
Mhm.
I do love the music. I love the themes it adapts, and just it's a miracle that the movie's music is as good as it is. Um, do you have any comments of stuff that you liked, of stuff that you didn't like from the last hour of the movie?
The last hour of the movie is where you get a lot of heavy product placement, and that kind of grates on you a little bit. The Particularly the Mountain Dew, the Mountain Dew vending machine that just shoots out uh the cans at people. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Um, I will say the last hour is a lot of fun to watch in theaters because it was just a big spectacle of fun. But for all the credit that we give Michael Bay for his action directing, he does have some things that are always kind of odd, and like one thing that's always kind of odd with him is the slow-mo. It's like why are we slowing some of these things down? Um, I agree with you that kind of like the way that like they beat Megatron doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. So that was always a little confusing, and it just like again, this just kind of boils down to Sam as a main character for this. When you have all these like military guys, um, Sam's kind of worthless in this battle. So like, why? Like, other than like he's got the big job of like protecting the cube.
Yeah,
Um, However, let's just call it what it is. Um, Sam should have died a zillion times during this
yeah,
battle.
absolutely.
So he clearly has plot armor in this case, and that's fine, I guess. But I will give it a little bit of credit that the action set pieces at the end were a lot of fun to watch, and this just had spectacle written all over it. In Sorry, my cats are freaking out right now.
I,
Um,
I I can't hear him, so that's proud of a
there,
miracle in itself
there.
again.
So just this one was a lot of fun to watch in theaters because say what you will about Michael Bay, but if you're looking for just a blockbuster popcorn flick over the summer, which this is exactly what it was, this this was pretty good for that.
Before we get to the reviews and the plot keywords of this movie, I have a trivia question for you.
Okay.
So, the working title for this movie and Revenge of the Fallen was originally going to be Prime Detective, which apparently was the name of the DreamWorks Productions' first comic book. But
Hmm.
it was revealed that it was an addict mention in a movie that came out in the 1960s. Can you name which movie it is?
He said it came out in the 60s.
Yes. Very well known movie.
Is it Lawrence of Arabia?
1966 Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So, because of that, and they didn't want to get involved with the lawsuits and all of that, they just completely scrapped it. Which, by the way, Pet Detective? No, not Pet Detective. Prime Detective? Really?
Yeah.
I am done with Michael Bay. Let's just get to the reviews. Rotten Tomatoes puts us at 57% with 222 review with 227 reviews. Well earned. I'm happy with that. It probably could have gone a little bit less, but say what you will, the last half of the movie kind of is still a little bit good.
Mhm.
Now the 85% on the audience score, sorry, excuse me, with the 250,000 ratings, no, absolutely no. I do not like this.
But
Um,
this is like a textbook example of turn your brain off and just watch the movie.
yeah, but this is
This is
again an example of turn your brain off and watch like 1 hour of the movie and then sleep for the rest for the other hour.
I yeah, I trust me, I do agree with that. But there this definitely found an audience, and there's a reason why we've got what like 5 official ones in and then 2 spin-offs as well. So there these were popular at one point, and this one kicking it off. I'm not gonna lie, I did not have a whole lot of faith that this was gonna be any good when I saw this in theaters, but I will admit I had fun at moments, but that was back in the late 2000s when I thought just because I had fun at the movies meant that I thought the movie was good, and that is like that's just not how I think anymore.
Fair enough. I'm just setting up something for later. IMDb has put this as a 7.1 out of 10 with
Jesus, that
690,000 reviews.
that seems very, very high, but
It
okay,
is
that's
it
fine.
is very high. Why don't we check out some of the 1-star reviews? I
Hmm.
hope that they're actually at least kind of makes sense. After that, we'll review some 5-star reviews to see if there's anything realistic. I'm just trying to see the rating. Okay, there we go. 1-star reviews. Here we go. Um, okay, I got one here. I don't know if you want to look at IMDb as well, just to find something with that too. I have one. This one's a long one. It's called "When Summer Blockbusters Go Really Wrong." When the announcement came from a new Transformers movie for summer, I was pretty excited. I wasn't a major Transformers fan, but I had fond memories of the cartoon and toys. I hated the redesigned Lego, not Lego, redesigned Transformers, thinking that the new designs were overly busy between Lego's Bionicle toys and expressionist modern art sculptures. I also heard the script was poor, so I decided to skip this one. However, I started hearing movie reviews that it was amazing that what an amazing film this was, the greatest film of all time, people proclaim. So I came to terms and accepted that it was robots I grew up with, and this was a new version, and I at least find interest in the robots transforming into cars and beating each other up, which is a good synopsis of Transformers, if I agree. I even go this, even though I don't even like Michael Bay films. How was it? Transformers is a disgustingly bloated and self-indulgent piece of crap. I understand that I'll get rated down for my review, but I'm prepared to accept it. Sadly, my theater must not have gotten the Ethiopia, including inducing gas that apparently other theaters got, causing me to gush over these people like other people. Even the 1986 Transformers film was imperfect. It was basically one fight scene after the other, and it was a means to replace the old toys for a new line. But the action was good, showed the consequences of war, and featured the death of a beloved character. It kept me true to the mythos, even though it was different. The movie makes reference to so many films and blah 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 blah. This review goes on for a long time, so I'll just stop there. I don't know. I've also seen the Lego Bionicle toys, and I think it kind of makes sense. Like it makes a lot of sense for her perspective. But calling the designs that bad, like, I don't know. I think it makes a little bit of not a lot of sense. But I also want to agree that the 1986 Transformers film was actually a pretty good one, even though it was still back-to-back action. But at least the human characters were written properly. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else that's actually shorter? No, all these reviews seem to be very, very long.
Hmm.
Uh, I have one that's like a list of stuff. Did you find any that was very short?
I'll read a couple clips from this. This is a 10-star review, mind you.
Okay.
So, well, so it says treasure for some, garbage to others. So always a good sign when a review starts like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's start off with the critics. People say that the movie lacks plot. Plot? What plot? It's an action movie built around sci-fi CG. Since when do we need a plot? Fair point. Next up is the dirty, stupid teenage humor. Yes, indeed, loads of it. But hey, haven't you all people ever wanted to go back to your younger years and do something unspeakably cheesy? No, just no. And the third most criticized part is the bad acting. They said, well, yes, I wouldn't call the acting superb or anything, except Shia LaBeouf. This person said Shia LaBeouf was the best part of this. Uh, but the
Oh,
thing, but the thing that this person said. Now let's get to the fun part. The visuals are impressive. The action is even more impressive, And, well, that's it.
That's all they said.
In conclusion, if you don't expect a lot out of this, if you turn, it turns out to be a pretty nice package of this and that, and all the critics are right. Yes, but the movie is fantastic, and I am by no means sorry to have spent my money and watched it on the big screen. And that is where I will agree with him. Is that or her? Actually, I can't tell, but watching this on the big screen is a lot of fun. But they're also right that
Yeah.
there's no plot. The humor is pretty
Mixed bag.
rudimentary, and then the acting for the most part is bad. Even Shia LaBeouf is bad.
We've got some plot keywords to go through. Have you ever wondered about a movie month with as a result of belly button month? We have The Matrix #1, Transformers #2, Daddy's Home 2 #3, and The Little Mermaid #4. That one's a weird one. I don't even know where belly button came from.
I know. It came from Megan Fox. It's the scene. There's a picture. Yeah, where she's just over. It's the part where she opens the hood and is looking at the Bumblebee's engine.
Right.
Because here I am like an idiot, be like, what Transformer has a belly button? That doesn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh duh. Yeah, that's right. There was that one part.
We got another one. Have you ever wondered about no opening credits month? We have Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Better Man, which I actually do want to see. It actually looks like a really good biopic. Gladiator and Kraven the Hunter. Now, why is Kraven the Hunter this high?
That is a good question.
Let's just leave it at that. Next up, we have Burger King month. That one's a little bit interesting for a plot keyword. I don't even remember Burger King even showing up in this movie, but apparently it did. Transformers #1, Gremlins #2, The Instigators #3, and then The Lost World Jurassic Park #4.
That is ridiculous because the #1 movie on that should be Iron Man. Because Iron Man, when Tony Stark gets back from the desert and being captive, he wants an American cheeseburger. And where does he go for an American cheeseburger? Burger King. Which, I hate to break it to you, if I think American cheeseburger, I ain't thinking about Burger King. I ain't. So Burger King must have backed up a dump truck full of money to Paramount and Marvel to get product placement in Iron Man. So the fact that Burger King or that Iron Man is not on that Burger King list, shame on you.
Well, it might be
not you specifically, but just IMDb.
Yeah. I have 4 more that we'll go through, and then we'll give our final thoughts. We have Bozoka month. I don't know what the heck this is referring to. I'm talking about BAZOOKA. I can't pronounce apparently.
Bazooka, maybe
bazooka. What the heck does a bazooka have to do? The overhang thing, like the overhand weapon. Okay, that makes more sense. Bazooka months. We have Deadpool and Wolverine's #1, Civil War from 2024. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it was actually a pretty good movie. That one's #2. By the way, Kirsten Dunst actually acted in that movie, so good job, Kirsten Dunst. I don't love you in the Spider-Man stuff, but you did pretty good in this movie. Venom: The Last Dance #3, and then Die Hard #4. Do you want to guess what the #5 pick is? Over Tenet.
Was it Inception?
Borderlands.
Oh no.
We have Exploding Building months. We have Civil War, The Mystery of Ungentlemanly Warfare #2, #3 The Batman, and then #4 Dune Part 1. So that I haven't seen Dune yet. I do hope to see it soon. So yeah, I look forward to me seeing Dune, whatever. We have voiceover narration month. We have Better Man #1, Fall Guy #2. That one was the Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, or whoever the woman was from
Emily Blunt
24. Love Actually number 3, and then Furiosa number 4.
Hmm.
Um, by the way, when we're doing our best of 2024 movies month, we are going to be doing Furiosa Mad Max Saga as one of our film recaps, and I'm so excited to talk about Furiosa. It's going to be a blast. Yeah, I hope that you're looking forward to that. And by the way, when I saw this movie, I haven't actually saw a Mad Max movie yet, so
Oh.
it was a very interesting experience.
Mhm.
And then our last one that we're gonna do, this one's kind of a bit of a funny one. It is. Have you ever wondered about movies to add to your bedroom collection? Bedroom month. We have Home Alone, The Holiday, The Simpsons, and Eyes Wide Shut as number 4.
Hmm.
Eyes Wide Shut is apparently a 1999 movie rated TV and A. Knives Out was actually place number 5, and the National Lampoon's is place number 6. That's what I would like to give a shout out to. So, shout
Hmm.
out Knives Out. I haven't even seen that movie yet, but I do want to see it at some
It's
point.
great. It's great.
Where is it even on? Like, I swore it was on Netflix, but I never found it.
The sequel was on Netflix. I don't know where the original is. In the US, Knives Out might not even be anywhere right now. But let's see.
Which is a weird thing because I thought the movie was critically received very well.
It was. So in the US, Knives Out is on Amazon.
Okay, I'll have to search up later to see if it's even on that.
Mhm.
Um, so with that out of the way, so basically how our ratings go for our final rating. We basically give 3 ratings. We either give it a buy, which is really good, want to see it again. Rent, I would rent the movie. It's not a good one, but I would see it again. Or you would bin it, which is basically just the definition of poor garbage. I am renting this movie. This is probably a low rent for me. Um, Reason being, again, Optimus is done dirty. Shia LaBeouf is just useless. Megan Fox is useless. If you just cut the Witwicky stuff, this movie probably could have gone into a little bit of a higher tier. But you just have to keep the whole thing, whole Witwicky's family stuff in there, and you have to hire Megan Fox to do porny stuff. So I really do not like that. The first hour, the last hour kind of saved it from being a bin, but again, nothing really moves forward. Nothing really makes sense. They don't have a good script to go on. So that's my reasoning for putting it as a bin. I have a 3-star review on Letterboxd. I could just read it real quickly. I forgot how cringy the first Transformers is. The first hour is exhausting. It's not until we get to with the Autobots that things start to get interesting. The secondary human characters were more interesting than Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox's character, which, by the way, they are annoying. The last hour saved this movie for me, and I can't wait to talk about this one on the podcast. So,
Hmm.
I put it as a 3-star movie. If I was to look back at it now, I would because this is my second time viewing it for this podcast. I'd probably put it as a 2.5 star.
Hmm. Hmm. So based on your scale, I would say rent it for me as well.
Are you
For
where on your scale? Are you high? Are you low? Or are you middle? Where would you think your thing would be?
probably low, I guess.
Okay.
Um, this is mindless spectacle at its very best. Um, and for me, it takes a very specific instance for me to want to watch a movie that is just mindless spectacle. I kind of equate this to some of like particularly the later Fast and the Furious movies, because like if I want to watch something that doesn't have a whole lot of value, but I just want to watch something in the background that, I can be like, cool. Yeah, that is how I feel about this, particularly the second half and like all the desert parts or like parts in the Middle East. Yeah, like those action set pieces are cool. And as as somebody who grew up watching the Transformers, I do have to give this a little bit of credit because at the end of the day, it's still fun to watch and it's still this is going to sound a little corny, so just go with it. I kind of equate it to how I felt the first time I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on like a live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a live action X-Men movie. that my inner childhood heart warmed up a little bit. So I will give it credit for that because now just because it warmed up doesn't mean that it was good by any means, but there was something that was like, oh, I remember playing with these once upon a time or reading X-Men comics when I was younger. So there is that, but if you really start to like think about stuff, it's like no, just no. And then that's where your warm childhood heart starts to dissipate. So yes, at the end of the day, low side of Rent, and I think when I don't think I've reviewed this on Letterbox, but I think I'd probably put it at like solid like 3 stars. That's it's not getting more than that.
Fair enough. I do want to mention that if I do want to watch a movie like that, I would just put on Dark of the Moon. Like, I think Dark of the Moon is a much better story wise, and I love Sentinel Prime in that movie. Like, at least from what I remember, I do want to look back at it now to see if the twist is actually a good twist. I do know that it's actually lore in Transformers that Sentinel Prime is a twist villain, but I would want to go back to just see if it's actually good or not. So that's what I would like to do in the past. It's just to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's Transformers. We are done with movie number 2. You'll be getting American Tail next week with my special guest Colin Hilding. That oh, are you sad?
I I actually so I host trivia at a bar on Wednesday nights, and someone said something about an American Tail, and I played Somewhere Out There um on on like just during one of the in between one of the rounds, and the younger kids that play trivia were like, "What is this?" And all of like the millennials or people who like grew up in like the late 80s and 90s were like, this one stings a little bit because this song is like really, really sad, but it's also really good. So there's that. So that's a
I
good
do.
pick. That's a good pick.
My uncle has some good arguments for it. Why it's a really good movie. And again, Steven Spielberg was
Mhm.
again executive producer for that movie, so you get to hear a little bit about that, and also the fight between DreamWorks and Disney at the time. So not DreamWorks, Don Bluth, and DreamWorks. So have fun with that once it comes next week. Um, we also will then after that we'll have a surprise movie. We're gonna be keeping it as a surprise for now. You'll figure out at the end of January what that movie is going to be for our final childhood movie month. All I'll say is that we're going to have another special guest who's actually going to be coming in as a co-host throughout the whole year. So you'll get to meet him in that episode, and he'll be hosting his first episode. So look forward to that. Um, Daredevil. I know we said we would start posting it a little bit, but we have been falling behind because Owen has been falling behind with school and stuff, so he's not able to do it. So our other co-host who's going to be doing that final episode of the Childhood Movie Month is going to be joining me with that, and we're also going to be doing the Clone Wars. That's very exciting. We're going to be doing arc by arc breakdowns, starting with the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Moving on.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll get looking forward to that. It'll be released at least by the time of February comes. Um, as for movies, again, like I've been saying, Captain America: Brave New World in February. You can expect a review for that. Although I think it's a gay title and all the reshoot stuff are coming out, and I do not like it. So look forward to me griping about that once it comes in Valentine's Day. And that's our only movie review for coming in at the time. Mike, you want to plug in a little bit about yourself and your podcast for a couple minutes here?
Sure. So I am part of a podcasting network. It's called the SPDM Crew of Podcast. We have 15 podcasts on the network. I specifically host 4 of them. I host a movie one called Family Movie Night, where I talk about what me and my family watch for family movie night. And I usually have my daughter on with that. I host one called Sports Ball, where we talk about sports related things, where, maybe someone's going to come on and talk about some hockey coming up soon. I've got one called Mix CD, where I have people come on and put together a playlist that's 80 minutes long, and then we talk about something based on a theme. And then I have one called SPDM TV, where I talk about TV because lately I have been doing a lot more with TV than I have been with movies. So you could check out all of those at SPDM Crew on all the major, social media platforms. You can find me on social media at mlhilty2452. Follow me on Serialized, Letterboxd, Instagram, Blue Sky, all of that to check out all my podcasts. I also host another one. It's called Geek Speak Louder Than Nerds. We just finished up our discussion on Star Trek Lower Decks, and we are moving on to just other stuff to get us to Daredevil Born Again. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, thank you for joining in last minute. Folks, this was also, I do want to mention how we met up. I joined a group called the Facebook, what is it called?
Podcasters of Facebook, yeah.
Okay. It's a group where 100, how many people do we have? 1,000?
There's a lot. There's
a lot of people where we get to have groups. A lot of it is just wellness and stuff and crap, and I really could not care any less about those podcasts. Sorry, listeners, for those who have those podcasts. It's just, it's just not me being not a fan of it. It's just I'm not really that interested in all that. But yeah, we met through that, and then he connected with me as looking for co-hosts, and like he kind of alluded to, I will be appearing in Sports Ball coming up in a little bit. I think we're recording at the end of the month, or is that to be decided in February?
End of the month, yeah.
Okay, and then I'm also going to be actually appearing in CD Mixer, which we're going to be talking about my picks for a playlist based on movie soundtracks.
Yep.
I am really excited for that. It's going to be so much fun. How long are those episodes usually? Just as a quick
most of them are anywhere from like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just wanted a general idea just so I know what we're going to be basically talking about.
Yeah.
I'll also be checking out a couple of those episodes on Spotify and stuff like that. Wait, where can they find you for your crew? Like, where can they listen to you?
Just Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere that you get your podcasts. You should be able to find it.
Okay. Again, it would be sad to plug away and not even know what your stuff is being plugged into.
I gotcha. It's all good.
Just give me 1 sec. I'm supposed to be plugging in my podcast too. Cantina Cuisine. We got our own podcast stuff as well. I guess we do have our own podcast stuff. I don't know why I said it like that. That was so weird.
That's okay. The joy of just post-production, right?
Post-production can screw me in the whatever.
Right.
I do not like post-production that much. If anything, fair. I do not like in this podcast, it is. Why is this saying I have to do my password? Anyways, I don't know. It's like the bad part about the podcast is editing and all that stuff. So that's a little bit of a hassle. So
yeah.
I had a fun time with our pilot episode because I had to edit a bunch of stuff out because it was outdated. Because we were originally going to do a lot of stuff, but then we had to cut back because hosts were quitting on me. So that was fun. It was a lot of fun to deal with. We are now on Spotify, as you can probably tell. If you're listening on Spotify, at least, we just got approved a week ago, so congratulations to Cantina Cuisine for that. We're also on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and some other small podcast stuff. You can listen to that. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. I don't have an X account yet. I am still deciding if I want to make one, but yeah, I'll probably not. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we appreciate you tuning in to this bad movie that everyone doesn't really agree with, but we appreciate everything that you have done, and yeah, screw Michael Bay, screw Shia LaBeouf, screw Megan Fox, you guys stink. I'm not watching any of your movies ever again. My name is Patrick Clausen, and I send this message to any surviving movie nerds taking refuge in their basements. We are here. We are waiting.
What I've done. I'm Mike Hiltey. Appreciate you having me on. No sacrifice, no victory.
Thank you for listening to the new episode of Cantina Cuisine. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to listen to new episodes coming out every week just for you. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates and follow-ups to our episodes and other content that you might like. Again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Peace out, nerds.